Alright boys, here we are, live on the computer for like the second time on this channel. But news broke today. The new Gen Integra officially revealed. The actual reveal, not the prototype. And here on the Acura website, we got literally everything listed. All the videos, all the pictures, and everything you need to know about it. We're going to go through it. And just kind of give thoughts. It's going to be kind of a longer video, more of a, I don't know, discussion, more of a than a point-to-point video, and just give general opinions and like predictions, I guess. Kind of, I don't know, how it's gonna do, stuff like that. So I am not alone. I am joined by Golfar Garrett.
Yep.
Which is nice because he's in the market, kind of what the Integra will be in, or shared, I guess, in. So with him purchasing a vehicle in this certain market, he will be knowledgeable of like the price points and stuff like that. So that's nice to have an inside there. And then of course, me being an employee at an Acura dealership, I'll have some trim insights and like dates and just kind of more general inside info. Not like completely inside, but more than the general public, I guess. So it'd be interesting for both of our takes on this car. So
Speaking of that, you had insight of the Integra before it was actually officially announced.
I think accidentally, yes. I posted, it was on TikTok. Link in the description, by the way. Anyways, I posted on TikTok. We have a key box, like every dealership has. You can check out keys in our inventory, and at the time, it was basically a mistake, but it was in the system that Integra was in our system. Like, so it's weird because Acura only has what, 5 or 6 models, if that, like only a handful. So for them to keep like Integra in their new car like inventory thing was weird. So before, this was back in March of last year, and the Integra was revealed what, June, July was it, of last year, or was it later?
I think it was later, like, yeah, it was definitely later. I don't even know.
But it was still, months after I've discovered this, and at the time, no one really knew. This was kind of a mistake. It's kind of like ironic, I guess. This wasn't like a sure set thing, like, oh yeah, be quiet. It was kind of like, because no one at the dealership like had that kind of inside. I don't think anybody really knew at that time, but it was just kind of funny how that happened, and then months later it got announced. But I kind of keep saying like, yeah, I am the original leaker. I was the first one, but kind of funny. So anyways, we are on the Acura website. We're just gonna go through, react to everything. There's some videos, pictures, and then there's a whole list of features. It's basically a whole article. So, okay, we're gonna start at the very top. An icon for the next generation. I don't know. It's definitely been hyped up.
That's what they're going for. They got the whole hipster look and atmosphere going with it.
That's true.
Try to get the younger buyers into Acura.
I think the whole build up, like the hype back when it was first announced, was, I mean, insane. As far as they're trying to get attention to like a certain market, they definitely achieved that.
Yeah, they tried really hard.
Well, the problem, and we'll get into, we got a lot to say. We'll get into how it's, went spiraling. But, so, 2023 Acura Integra as a premium performance gateway for a new generation. Premium performance is definitely, we're going to highlight the word premium there. It's definitely premium in terms of price tag and some of the features. If you know Acura cars, it's definitely that premium. Performance, I mean, Acura is what the new performance brand of Honda pretty much now. I don't know why they're leaning towards that. I mean, it used to just be, you know, what, luxury, like that's
Yeah,
it.
now we're precision crafted
Yeah,
performance.
now
Or
we're,
fancy performance.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining because we get some cool cars, but I mean, I say cool cars, but if you compare to what Acura had in like that middle, like, what was it?
Yeah,
So the Type S ended
definitely
in
better
'08.
than like the 2010s
Yeah.
Acura. Definitely
So
better, but
like '09 to like 18, that generation, there was nothing cool. I mean, the NSX came out, but as far as like, you know, more trims, like sport trims, affordable sport trims, there was nothing. I think, what year was that? That was fifth or first year of the A spec, which is interesting because it's not really a sportier. It's just a sportier look. There's really nothing different about it. But yeah, that little midsection, there's really nothing going on. So talk about like the beginning of the Acura days where there was just, they were like so close to Honda, it was ridiculous. And then the middle section, they chilled out, and then now they're coming back with, of course, their Type S variants of the TLX, the MDX, and the NSX, and then I think we can go ahead and assume the Integra will get one as well.
yeah, and this car feels like it's closer to Honda than Acura has ever been.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is
It's more
very,
of,
very Civic-like.
yeah, I would say this and the 11th gen Civic are basically identical. Um, okay, so March 10th, 2022, Orange, California. I guess this is where the thing was. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it was somewhere in California, their little reveal party. Not party, but for all the press and media and stuff.
So first bullet point: Integra features a dynamic, sporty design with coupe-like roofline and segment exclusive liftback body style. This is important here, because sporty design with a coupe-like. Now I'm gonna highlight coupe-like because, well, I don't think it's. Let me look. We don't have any like. It's all sedan. If I like, we don't have any like leak or anything of any coupe. I don't think.
You know what's funny? They don't have a complete side-on profile really in their pictures because
Right.
the worst angle of this car is straight on the side.
Liftback body style. I believe. Yes. We do get the liftback. Now, it's. Yeah. Okay. About to say, I'm seeing if there's any picture where it's not. Looks like they're all
Yes.
liftback.
So something that was mentioned in a video that I watched, was if you look up the 11th gen hatch, the hatch opening goes down a lot lower on the bumper, and I never even thought of this. But this one's kind of higher like the old Integras are, so the load floor is higher, and it makes it look a little less like a hatchback, and I guess more like a liftback, if you want to call it that.
Right. Well, yeah, that's kind of the difference. The whole entire back does not open. It's just, half. And
So it's not an exact copy of the 11th gen hatch, but it's, pretty close.
it's pretty close. So that's interesting. Me and Garrett both being hatch owners, we can appreciate this.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think it's interesting. It's important to say at least that like the liftback hatchback era is dying, and
Sadly.
there's really not a lot of cars that offer it anymore. So it's really nice to see like a new car have it and point it out. Really,
People only buy SUVs now, so these
that's
last round
yeah.
of sedans and liftbacks and hatches,
It's really
probably gonna be
sad,
about it, sadly.
and that could be a whole other episode there. We can go into like SUV taking over the world. Like we can whole rabbit hole on that one. All right. Next, powerful turbocharged VTEC engine, sport tune chassis, and the only 6-speed manual transmission in its segment.
That's
Hang on. The only 6-speed manual transmission in its segment provide. Okay, there should be a break there. Or am I stupid? Provide an exhilarating driving experience.
I want to know what their segment is.
That's why it threw me off the first time I read it, because I thought they were. I read the only 6-speed. I thought I was gonna say like of its just of its segment.
Because I can think of a lot of cars right now that people would group this together with that offer manual transmission.
It's 6-speed though.
Like the WRX, the
Yeah.
new Elantra N, the Veloster N, the GTI. Yeah, that kind of segment. So I don't know exactly what their segment is, and then obviously the SI, but there's a few manual cars around this price range and people cross shops. They got to throw it in there for marketing, but
It is important to realize those Acura 6-speed. Last time Acura had a 6-speed was the ILX.
that is.
I believe I don't know if they did manuals in the facelift. I think it was the first gen ILX.
Yeah, think they went with DCT exclusively after that. So yeah, this is the first time Acura's had a manual in a little bit now. Think about that.
That's cool. They brought it back. It's definitely that is one of the highlight of this car. I will say is, I mean, obviously I might be a little biased since I drive a 6-speed, but I just feel like to have like a name as like the Integra, you can't do it justice by just slapping anything else in it. At least give an option.
They had to have a manual for this car. They weren't getting away with
Oh god, that would
without
be
having one.
yeah.
This car's already got a lot of hate. That would have been bad.
Okay. So, class-leading technology includes standard 10.2-inch accurate precision cockpit digital gauge cluster. So we're getting the full digital gauge cluster, unlike some other cars. 16-speaker ELS Studio 3D audio system. That's basically in every newer Acura. You get the ELS Studio three-dimensional audio system. It's nothing like crazy, but it is pretty nice. I mean,
From
it's
sound tests, people have kind of figured out that it's to like an audiophile perspective, it's actually pretty good. So I mean, it's a pretty good system.
like,
But
if we're looking at like modern cars now, like the standard, I feel like the ELS Studio, like this is pretty much no one's gonna have anything less than this in a car that's supposed to be high class.
speaking of that point, this little spoiler for down low, it's actually not standard.
So it's in a different package.
Yes. So we get basically base Civic audio systems for the base Integra.
Hmm. I'll touch base on the packages when we get there, because Acura's every car has the same sort of layout, so even if it's not listed, it'll be pretty easy to predict what's going to be in what. So here's something here. All right. So it says the 23 Integra will start around 30K. And Res Race started today, delivery this spring. First, let's talk about 30K. 30K. Now, starting 30K for the base, is that correct?
Yep, that should be, yeah, that's base.
Now, here's the thing, though. Around 30K, they put around 30K because I already know the mark. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too bad. Acura's never really too bad with this stuff. Unlike, well, it depends on how many people actually want this car and order it. How bad they'll mark it up.
Name-wise, this is definitely the most mark-upable car they have right now.
30K though. Okay, so let me look at something real quick off to the side here. So this on my phone here, so I'm not swapping screens.
You looking up the SI price?
Just let's see, just the base here. So MSRP 27 about.
Yep.
Well, so they've okay, so here's the thing. It was gonna happen no matter what. Acura's always gonna be 5 to 10K more around higher than a Honda. Just because of the brand and some of the features. So we're talking, I'd say after markup, well, I can't even say that because I don't even know.
Yeah, you just got to do pre-markup because some dealerships refuse to do markups, and you know, depending on where you are in the U.S., usually the Midwest dealerships are a little more lenient on markups, and as you get to the coast, you know, it starts to get bad.
All right, so 2023 Integra starts at 30K. Let's just say 30K, and a 2022 Civic Si MSRP 27,300. We'll say 27.
Yeah, I mean, as far as pricing goes, there's not much better they could do. It has to be more expensive than an SI.
But
You know, it's got the
interesting.
Acura premium features, so
2022 Civic hatchback 20 or about 24 base. So if we're in a real direct, I mean, it's not really a real direct comparison because I think the base Integra is more like an
the
SI
sport. Yeah,
than a
what's the
base
sport
Civic.
touring hatch? How much is that?
Let's see, 11th gen Civic Sport Touring.
Because that should be like 28 around there. Or more.
Okay, let me see. Wow, this is really hard to find. Really hard to
Well,
find.
should be around 28. The SI is around 27. So I mean, it's priced where it should be. Not much else you can do with that price on Acura's end. However, there is some features later on that we'll see that are actually omitted from the SI in some ways. So I know for one the radio, whatever, is actually in the base smaller than what you get in the SI, which there's only one SI trim. So it's kind of weird how they did the trimming on the Integra. But yeah, we'll see that later.
All right. Starting. Okay, so delivery for this spring. That's still kind of up in the air. I don't know. I think as this spring, I think the what would it be like the coastal, like I'm sure California will get them first,
Yeah.
and then they'll kind of migrate towards everywhere else.
The spring date's gonna be like the first
Right.
500 cars, like, the very first cars that get ordered.
Yeah, so don't get too excited. I mean, there'll be videos as soon as they land. There'll be videos of people test driving them, doing reviews and stuff like that. I don't doubt that. But if you live, somewhere Midwest, Northern, I don't know, East Coast might be the same too. It probably is going to be a little bit before you start seeing them at your dealerships. I only say this because at our dealership, it takes versus everybody else. I noticed a pattern, especially with like the TLX Type S. Whenever that was shipping, it was on the West Coast so early, and then it was been like a period of time where you'd forget about it, and then they'd show up. Like it's not like overnight thing. It's gonna take a little bit, but I could be wrong. They could have their stuff together here. It all depends. But if trends follow trends, West Coast should get it first, and then probably a few months, give or take, we'll start seeing them.
Considering this is supposed to be their entry level car now, I would say they're probably gonna push harder. Um,
Yeah, that makes a good point. There's more production units than the TLX Type S, anyway, so it'd probably be earlier. The
yeah,
wait time
but
wouldn't be as extreme as something so like the Type S is limited.
for them to actually be at dealerships and not just instantly going out to pre-orders,
Right.
probably very late summer, probably early fall. That's when they'll kind of just be sitting around if they do sit around at all. But yeah,
Okay. So, what do you think about the limited edition NFT? First 500 people with deposit. They'll what do they just get an NFT?
yeah. I mean, this goes back to the hipster thing. They're trying really hard.
I mean, to me, it's whatever, but you really don't have to do that.
They're just trying to reach out to the younger generation. NFTs are cool right now. I mean, it's marketing, but
I don't know how well it's. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
whatever sells cars, they're gonna do.
It's kind of to me, it's like, especially for like Acura to do it. Like Honda maybe, but Acura, it's like, maybe they're trying a little too hard.
Acura is already confused on their brand again,
It
and they just started rebuilding.
it's
They're
yeah,
already confused.
it's crazy.
They don't know what they want to be. This whole car is against what Acura currently is. They've been adding more fun, but this is like hipster fun now. I don't know. They're already confused again.
Hopefully for the better. Well, I say for the better for younger generation, but it's going to be for the
Yeah.
worse for older because people they're going to be swarmed with 6-speed Integras everywhere, and someone's not going to want to buy that for their first starter car.
Speaking of that, they already found the solution to what you just said, and we'll see that later. The manual might be locked behind a little paywall, which is
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it's locked behind a paywall. So we'll see that in a little bit.
All right. So that basically sums up everything we just went over. We're gonna take a watch at this. Let me pause the music. Go ahead. Let's turn down a little bit. Well, oh no. Okay. Windowed it is. Turn it down so we can talk over it.
It doesn't look as bad since it's out of that yellow color now. That yellow color was just
Okay.
awful.
Let me pause this real quick. I literally said the same thing. I've like when I seen pictures on Facebook because obviously I didn't read any of this yet. This is kind of still somewhat first reaction for me. But I skimmed through it earlier in the day, and I'll say the yellow that they did with the prototype, they tried too hard, and it just did not look good. But with like more subtle colors, and it really fits the brand a little bit better. They're not trying as hard. It 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 looks as it should. It just kind of fits.
Funny thing about that yellow color, that's not even available like on any special launch model or anything. It's not there at all. So
That's weird. I thought they would. Hmm.
I don't know if they just decided that wasn't a good idea, or if it'll be some special edition, or like on a Type S model in the future. Who knows? I will say with the lip on there, it does look better though.
One thing that kind of worries me. I don't know if you've seen this. Oh my, how like just heavy it looks in the back.
It is pretty bulky in the
Like
back, I agree.
it's huge back here. Like I feel like like the overhang back here is a little too much.
I like how it looks in the back though.
I do too. That just I can't unsee it.
I mean, it's 2 inches longer than the current 11th gen hatch, so this is a pretty big car. Yeah,
There's that.
that's a pretty big car.
While we might as well look at all these
Yeah.
since we've already seen it. Okay, this is the classic. This is Don't
Forgot
tell
what that
me.
blue's called.
Don't tell me. It's I should know this. What the heck?
You should know.
It's oh, it's a really cool name though. I just can't. Next, um, no, I'm kidding. So I'll come back to the color, but got the diamond pentagon grill. Every single Acura has that now.
Yep, corporate
Nice.
Acura.
Lower grill, fog lights down here. Real slim fog lights. The headlights I actually really like, even though they're almost copy paste ILX headlights.
Yeah, they had to make it corporate look and get all the cars in the same line. I don't mind the headlights. They look nice though.
And then this is the A spec package. See the badge right there, and the color. Good giveaway. And we got I believe they still do shark gray wheels.
Yep, those are the shark gray wheels.
And then I that is a yeah, we do get a moonroof up there too. I would hope. I really would hope. I was just making sure. There's kind of a glare there. There it is, front shot in a. That's not modern steel, I don't think. That's a darker gray. It might be modern steel. I can't tell in the lighting. But it is a
That
gray
just
color.
that shot right there, it does not look good.
Um,
I no. It,
I don't really mind
something
this
about
shot.
the
Maybe it's
looks a little
because,
weird.
mm, right. If we go to this, okay, we got another A spec. Um, same thing. 4-door, liftback. Mm, I will say the roof line. They had to have changed the roof line from the prototype because I
I
tell
don't
you,
think they did.
I tell you what though,
It's that fucking yellow ugly color they
it
did. It just made it look awful.
just some. I just that was like my least favorite picture on the internet for a long. I literally love the Integra, but that picture of that yellow, and it was just so like the roof like it's weird because here it goes, you get not like a straight like the old days, but you still got headroom here. But like for some reason, the picture with the yellow in it, like it's like a school bus almost. I was like, oh my, and maybe it could be the yellow because I just said school bus, but
I
it
think they were a little more careful with the pictures they took for press release too.
um, but this one, those are both Integras, right? It's hard to
Yeah,
hard to tell.
that's sad. You have to ask the
I
question.
know. It's just the
I think
front
the
end, but
car, I think the car to the left there is probably the base. I don't see the
yeah,
lip or
there's no
anything on
lip.
it.
Um,
No diffuser action or
No.
anything. I think that's probably the base, and it's got the
Yeah.
silver trim on the
Yeah.
windows. So,
Yeah. Be chrome trim,
or yeah, chrome trim.
and then there's no like. I noticed on the A spec there's like a little. Is there?
I think there might be a
Or
little
it's just
bit.
painted black. Here I think
Yeah.
it's just paint matched. I don't know. Weird angle. Here it is again. Okay. Here's where you can see the roof line a little bit. It's kind of still there. Like
Yeah.
it kind of, the windshield is just massive.
That's a
Mm.
Honda thing though. Big windows. Nice visibility.
But it's still not as bad as that initial prototype picture. I'll tell you that.
No.
Here it is in the dark. I like A specs on the back like that.
This here,
Um,
I think, is probably the best angle of the
yeah,
car.
I really do like the taillights.
This color with the tail lights and then the nice little carbon lip on there, the blacked out Acura badge. I think that's probably the best shot we have of the car.
Really nice. But the upgraded exhaust tips, or well, I say exhaust tips, they're just part of the diffuser. Yeah, fun fact, I'm sure everybody knows this. I think a lot of new cars do this, but that is not the exhaust.
I
It's
think those are the actual exhaust though,
every other A spec that is not the exhaust. It's part of the diffuser. The exhaust is in it.
because those look like the same exact exhaust tips of the SI. The SI has.
It might be, but if it's following Acura laws, though, I'm sorry, but those aren't the exhaust. Side profile. Okay, so I love this like headlight design too. I know it's like the DRL strips, they're kind of getting old, but we don't really have anything else new. So I remember when DRLs like first came out, everyone's like, "Oh, there's so much in the future." Now it's like pretty much standard on every new car.
Yeah. Everyone wants to do their own design with them.
Which I like. I like DRLs. I like people doing crazy, like not crazy crazy, but this is subtle enough where it's not just a line. It's got a little bit of a design.
Yep.
Really nice.
What do they call
Um,
that? The chicane DRL or something? Something like that.
yeah.
They take pride in that thing.
Um, there it is again. We got the insert. That's how I really love how they put the insert there.
Yep.
That's that's obviously a staple.
Nice little homage to the older generation Integras.
First interior shot I see. Um, Something really stands out to me is these vents are from the Civic,
Yep.
literally copy paste.
Steering wheel is from the Civic.
And when I say
It's
copy paste, I don't mean it in a bad way because the Civic's not a bad car. So if you copy it, I get it. Like I wouldn't want to do a new design either. It's fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Three pedals. This is the 6 speed. The door handle, I think those are Civic has that door handle because
Yep,
Acuras
it's
do
the
not have that
same
door
door
handle.
handle from the SI. Basically, the whole interior is SI.
Right.
There's a few differences, but it's a full Civic interior, which,
This
like you said, isn't a bad thing because the new
right.
11th gen Civic interior is beautiful.
Which brings back to our point. This is more of a Honda car than Acura because nothing. I mean, okay,
Yeah,
I can't even like really see anything in here that's like only on an
there's
Acura
nothing accurate in here. There's no
except the dash.
touchpad or anything either
Yes, no
with
touchpad.
infotainment.
That's
So
that's huge because every Acura car has touchpad. Well, almost every Acura car has a touchpad.
so I guess this is probably cost cutting because I would think they would want to make all Acura interiors pretty similar.
Right.
So I guess this might just be a big cost cutting measure to just take Honda stuff and throw it here.
I don't know if the Civic has something similar. I know it does with the 3D, the little car model there.
Yep.
Um,
So this instrument cluster is directly from the higher end Civic models. The SI only has the half digital.
right.
So yeah, this is from the higher model Civics. It's the exact same screen and everything.
Well, I know on the Acura side, the only model that gets this 3D thing is the SUVs.
Yep.
We got what is? Oh no! Oh no!
6,500.
Oh no! That is not good. Um, we got sport mode. So I'd imagine this being digital, the different modes change the appearance and the
Yep.
accents of everything, which I love that. Um, do we have a light in there?
So it doesn't say anything about this later on, so I think that's just a dealer option, but
Hmm.
it is pretty nice though.
Something else they could mark up,
Yep.
but I don't know. That's really nothing crazy. I wouldn't do it, but it is. Another back end shot. I I do like the back. Like the taillights are probably my favorite
Yeah.
thing. I really love the taillights.
The back of the car is very nice.
Um, next got another shot. Kind of hard to see because we're below. What is that? I don't even know. This is in definitely California. All right, this color. Is this the same color as one? Yeah, pretty good color. I don't think this is not an Acura color. I don't believe this is too
I
dark.
don't, it's not a Honda color either. I guess it's a new
It
color for
may
this
be a new
car.
color because I do not recognize this shade of gray unless it's the uh, shadow, but could be wrong.
So this is another A-spec car. So you can see the diffuser down there, and
Yeah, we
then
got
the
the wing, the
carbon.
diffuser, the emblem.
Yep.
So they're really showing out the A spec. Um, okay,
And those are the optional 19-inch wheels,
okay.
which look awful. Really, don't really like them.
That's kind of like yeah, like factory wheels these days are 50-50.
Yeah.
Another more. Okay, this is a nice angle. You can really see just how much it curves here. You know, not a lot. It's true lift back.
Yep.
This angle. This is a good angle to look at.
Yeah, not a bad angle.
Um, let's see. Very back again. Another ace back. Taillight. Pretty decent angle, I guess.
There's the moonroof. You can see it in all its glory there.
Oh, there it is.
No panoramic,
I mm,
just standard
I
moonroof.
love how the RDX and MDX have the panoramic. I think it'd be weird on a car, but I do like the panoramic.
But considering this thing only has 200 horsepower, they gotta relax with the weight a little bit
Yeah.
if they still want it to be sporty.
That's a is that a black color?
Yep,
So
black
we're
A
getting a
spec.
black A spec in this. Nice. Oh,
Oh,
there it is. Now wait a minute.
TVT.
So we're getting a CVT option.
As you'll see later on, the CVT is standard.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that. Hopefully. Red seats. That's A spec. Uh, yep. Everything. Already kind of
You
seen
can
that.
notice in that shot there that the climate or the vents
Yeah.
don't actually go all the way across like they do in the Civic. This is like the biggest change with the Integra interior. On
Yeah. I
the
see.
Civic, they go all the way across.
Quick badge on the steering wheel. The red stitching. The speakers. Paddles for the plus minus
CVT
for
paddles.
CVT, which uh, I I don't necessarily know how useful these are in a CVT, but
Just simulated gears.
um,
That's all.
charging ports in the back. There's our beloved 6-speed speakers. Wireless charging. Thank you. Um, ooh, door light.
Yep.
Kind of cool. Here it is with the sunroof open, moonroof open. We got
That looks big in this picture. That's weird.
It might it's
It
just
looks a little bigger
yeah.
than the other picture.
I think it's just drawn out, but
Yeah,
we got these are like the
should be orchard
light.
white.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't really see too many of options. People choose that kind of option. Black seats. Got a POV shot here. This is straight from
Yeah.
this is straight from the Acura dynamic mode. Uh, and I'd assume you can do custom dynamic mode, which is you can go in individually, change your drivetrain mode, your suspension mode, and your steering mode. So you can do like sport drivetrain and like comfort steering and just customize it. It's really cool.
Fun fact, there's the heads-up display actually, optional heads-up display. And they actually call it individual mode in this car like they do the Civic. They don't call it dynamic.
Wow. Why?
So they
Why?
didn't even rename that.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also, that's locked behind a paywall. We'll see in a little bit. The
Oh
dynamic mode
man.
is, or the individual.
Okay, there's all the photos. Not bad. I mean, so far, nothing really jumps out at me as like, what the heck? All right. So we got a huge paragraph. Basically, we've already went over most of this stuff. Just kind of skimmed through it here.
Just marketing lingo.
Mentioned the RDX, yeah, the chicane LED DRLs, LED fog lights because it's modern day. Why would you not? We got 17, 18, or 19 wheels available. Interesting.
I think it's 17 on the base, the A spec, and the A spec technology package. You get the 18s, and then you optional 19.
Um, most of this stuff, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Um, so here's the thing. I'm pretty sure this is its own. Well, no, I'll take that back. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto should be standard.
Yep, it's on the 7-inch, and then the 9-inch gets wireless CarPlay and Android Auto.
Okay. I think we're ready.
Yep.
Uh,
Manufactured in the U.S. Whew, what a...
built in America, Marysville, Ohio. Yep. Felix.
That not worrying.
Um. Yep. Engines made in Ohio. Okay. Which also produces the Type S V6 and the Type S MDX 600 horsepower and SX Type S. Okay. We're
So
we're already over here now, so that's cool.
that's interesting because the Civic Si motor, which this is the exact same engine, exact same horsepower rating. I figured they would have bumped it a little bit, but it's the exact same. So where's the Si engine made?
Hmm.
Because then they took the Integra engine to a different plant, and it's no different. Kind of weird. They don't just take it from
I
the
feel like
SI
it'd be
plant.
more efficient,
Yeah,
but there might
seems
be
kind of weird.
something behind the scenes. Okay, so we got the base A spec and then A spec technology, which they did this a little different than traditional Acuras. Traditional Acuras have 4 packages. This has 3, which could be them being more Honda built than Acura. So you can see that. Um, Obviously the A spec appearance package is only on the A specs. Power moonroof, you get that no matter what. Dual eyes, they're on it. The DRLs are on. Interesting. LED fog lights are not on the base,
They are not standard.
so you don't get fog lights. Hmm. I don't know why. Like it's such a small thing. Why not? Like if you're already adding the the LED DRLs and the like, why not just have the whole package? I don't understand.
They should just be standard, but this is more of a Honda manufacturing thing also,
Ah,
because the
that's
base Civics don't have it.
yeah.
So
I guess, but time for a change. I guess not. LED tail, obviously you're gonna get them. Um, the puddle lamps, that's like the uh, uh, door lights. Um, that's only on the A-Spec Tech. Weird. Oh, it's only on the top model here.
Yep.
Um, Acura watch, that's basically the camera that is up in the windshield that helps you with lane detect or your lane keep assist and stuff like that. Um, that's standard, which is nice. Blind spot mitigation, stuff like that. It's all standard. It's all part of Acura watch, anyways. Proximity sensors is only only on the A-Spec Tech.
Such a
Um,
weird thing to be locked behind
I
a
don't
package.
I don't know why, but I feel like that should be included with Acura watch, so it should be standard. But I
Yeah.
mean, cost cut, I guess. Smart entry, that's should be keyless entry, so you don't have to physically unlock the car if the key fob is on you. You should do a thing in the door. Put your hand through the door and it'll unlock on its own. And then I didn't see in any of the pictures. Let me go back real quick. I really didn't pay attention. Did we have a close up of any of the doors?
Um,
There's the okay. It's
is
only
a
on the
back
front
door.
too. It would have it on the front too only. It said
Are you thinking about the button on the door handle?
that or the ridges.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what
I
you
don't.
you used for keyless entry. Um, okay, back here, three mode dynamic system. So that's our driving uh modes. So you get sport, comfort, normal, and all packages. And then the individual mode, I believe, yeah, that's what we call dynamic. So that's the custom mode, I guess. It's only
Yep.
on the A-Spec Tech.
And the reason is the one right under it. Adaptive dampers are
Hmm.
only technology package. So here starts the SI comparison. So the 10th gen SI had adaptive dampers standard, and then the 11th gen came out without them. People were confused. So I think what they did is they intentionally didn't give it to the SI so they could give it to the Integra for sales.
Interesting.
Yep.
I am really glad they give us this whole entire sheet to look at.
Oh yeah.
Um, Instrument display panel, obviously. This isn't like the ILX. You're not going to get two screens, two
Another thing
two
from the
6-inch
SI,
screens.
they didn't put the full digital on the SI. Once again, probably a marketing thing for the Integra. They gave it to the Integra.
Hmm. So you get 7-inch on base and A spec, and then 9-inch on the A spec Tech. LED lighting. Okay, so what this is this is on the TLX as well, or this is on every Acura high package. There, I think if this is what I'm thinking of, it's the ambient lighting is around the door, like the door kind of above the door handle. There's like a strip. There's some like in the center console as well. I don't know if this will have exactly that, but this is pretty much what that is. 8 speaker audio system. Obviously, well, wait a minute. Okay, because you get this. Okay, you get 8 speaker in the bass and the A spec, and then 16 in the A spec Tech.
So back to the touchscreens real quick. So the 7-inch is standard on the base and then
Yeah,
the A
and
spec,
yeah, and then 9 inches on
and
the A
9
spec
inch on
Tech.
the tech. So the SI comes automatically with the 9-inch. So technically, if you got a base Integra, you get a downgraded screen from the SI, and you're paying
That's
three
true.
grand more.
That
So
is true.
this is a really weird thing. It's
Not very
really
consistent.
strange. No, it's really weird how they did this.
Apple CarPlay, you got wired for these and then wireless for the A-Spec Tech. You get Alexa with the A-Spec Tech. The heads-up display A-Spec Tech, you don't get it with anything else. That's weird.
Nope.
I would have hoped it would be at least I mean, heads-up display could be 50-50 on whether it's a standard feature on most cars now, but I guess I like the heads-up display. It's pretty cool, but
Yeah.
oh, charging pad. Okay, this is interesting. The charging pad is only on the A-Spec Tech, where um I don't. I believe it is on just the Tech and up for the Acura cars. So they're really, really
It's a
like,
really weird cost-cutting measure because I think the
uh,
SI has the wireless charging pad once again.
right.
So it's a really weird cost-cutting measure, but
Oh no, USB ports Type A, one. Type C, you get three in the A-Spec Tech.
so that means specifically for the back seats on the A-Spec Tech, you have two USB-C charging ports back there. So if you get the base, there is no rear seat charging, and also on none of the models there is no vents in the back. So you just get nothing back there. Besides cup
Hmm.
holders.
Oh, cost cut, cost cut. Heated front seats, that's a given. I feel like you're really, really starting to push the button if you're not at least standard with that.
Yep. So once again,
Power.
that was on the 10th gen SIs, the heated seats, and then they were
Okay,
removed for the 11th gen, and looks like they stuck them in the Integra.
interesting.
So a weird thing.
Power driver seat. That's okay. Here, hang on. So eight way. So eight way is forward, back. You got the tilt. Um, you have, or yeah, forward, back, tilt up, tilt back. The um rake. I know you can rake it,
Yep.
and I think that's it.
And I
If
think
we're
the
not
12 way
counting
is just
lumbar.
lumbar adjustment. Pretty sure.
Okay. Then you get 12 way with memory. Okay, something interesting. We don't get memory until A-Spec Tech, it seems.
Yep. And that's something you cannot get on any of the Civic models, so that is an actual Acura feature, unlike most
Let's say
stuff
I
here so
don't
far.
know. I'm like 85% sure even like base TLXs have memory seats.
Yep.
Four-way power front passenger seat. So, wow, we're getting manual passenger seats
I
unless
I didn't see that earlier. Manual passenger seats on the
unless
base.
you're in the big boy, the A-Spec Tech. And it's interesting because even the base TLXs have auto passenger seats, but you know the one car, no matter what package it is, that have manual passenger seat is the ILX. So that's kind of, I
Shame.
guess that's kind of their thing there.
Yep. And I think that any of the Civics, besides I guess the very top trim, you get manual seats on the passenger side too.
Leather seats are in the base and A-Spec, and then you get the suede inserts on the A-Spec Tech. Actually, I don't know. The suede inserts are nice, but I know it's they stain up really, really easily, and they are a pain to clean up. Oh, if you spill anything on those, you're done.
I know it's probably just me, but I would have liked to seen cloth seats on the base Integra.
I mean,
I just hate leather seats.
a cool option. I mean, just because
Maybe
keyless
a
or not,
little sporty seat.
keyless start, CVT only, obviously. Uh, we don't have that for the manual, but we don't even have it for the base CVT or the A-Spec one. It's just the
Yep.
CVT A-Spec Tech. Then Acura Link is only on the A-Spec Tech, and I think Acura Link is the thing you get for like roadside assistance and stuff like that. It comes with it.
Yep.
Um, weird. I thought that'd be standard. So quick little skim through here. Quick summary. It seems like they are really cost cutting the base. Like And even the A spec. I mean, some stuff you don't see on the base, you're not going to see on the A spec either.
And it's weird that some features are missing from what the SI has even. It's
It's
and
so
it's more money. It's
confusing because
really weird.
it really throws people off because before they released this, I'm sure people with like an SI, they were like, "Oh, I'm sure the Integra is gonna have this, 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 and this," and now this just throws a wrench in here. Like, wow.
So if you think about it, we have base around 30 grand. The A spec is gonna cost 32, 33. So I mean, with the tech package and adaptive suspension and everything, you got to get up towards what, 35,
I'd
35,
say even a
36.
little more than that
Like that's pretty pricey for a
for
an
a
SI
yeah.
hatch
It's pricey for
at the
like
end of the
their
day.
for Acura at least their entry level. So the way you gotta look at it is, it's no matter what, at the end of the day, you're replacing the ILX market. So even that, they're kind of the same. They've always been like, nah, you can't really compare the two because, but in a general speaking of like a market, in an Acura market, even though this is more of a Honda car, people are still going to look at this as a ILX replacement.
Yeah. If you think about it, the Type R is going to be around probably 37 to 38,000. I know it's not a direct competitor, but people are going to be cross shopping.
Oh, for sure.
The people that are buying this car want an Integra. They want an SI hatchback. They want something sporty. Most of the people. So it's kind of weird pricing that you're going to go up that high for a 1.5 liter 200 horsepower motor.
Yeah.
A little weird.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
Here's the
Next,
fun section here.
get dimensions. So, uh, just the Integra body style 5-door liftback. That's stand. That's just how it is. Packages. We got the base, the A spec, and then the A spec tech. So it's basically just base and tech. Wait. Yeah.
So
A
yeah,
spec.
you
You
can't
get
add
tech.
anything to the
Right. So
base.
base, you can't like. There's no like advanced. So like in a TLX, there's base, tech, A spec, advance. Here they just kind of there's base and then there's A spec and then a tech. So it throws me off personally because it's not really with the accurate algorithm. So I'm learning a lot. Um, Engine 1.5 liter turbo, uh, with VTEC.
SI motor.
Standard transmission, so CVT with paddle shifters, and it look. Wait a second.
Are you noticing something here?
It's hang on. So you're telling me that you can only get the 6-speed manual transmission on. Wait.
I don't know if it's A spec or you have to get the tech package to get it.
It might be both.
I know currently on the Acura website, if you go to spec one out, it has to be the A spec tech package.
Interesting. So I see what you mean by the paywall now.
Yeah, it's really, really weird.
Oh
You
man,
gotta
that
spend
sucks. I wish.
35,000 plus to get a manual.
Oh, that really sucks.
Yeah.
That that right there might be their worst decision because now no one's gonna buy the base Integra without a 6-speed because a base Integra, what we say, 30 with a 6-speed, it'd have a its own class. Like people somewhat buy it, but now you're gonna have to make people spend almost 40 grand for the 6-speed. I don't see that happening.
I think I see why they did this because if you think about it, this would take sales away from the SI. Um, if you can spend 2 grand more and then get the Integra with the 6-speed manual. So I guess they kind of had to
Ah
hide it up
man,
there in the higher pricing.
either way
But
though, it's still more expensive. So you would you really wouldn't be taking much from the SI.
I don't know if this car is worth for. Let's put the CVT away. For the people that want an actual Integra, no one wants a CVT. People that are buying the CVT cars are going into Acura dealerships because it's a fancy car and they're just buying the base Integra or whatever. The people that actually want this car with the 6-speed, the people that would have bought the SI or Type R sportier cars, now have to spend 35 plus grand.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a lot of cars you can get for 35 grand that offer a lot more than this Integra does.
That's true. You gotta look at the market as a whole, not just between Honda and Acura.
The WRX is going to be cheaper with a 6-speed. The Elantra N, which has 80 more horsepower, a dual clutch option, is only 33,000. So this is a hard sell. This is a very hard sell.
Now, you know what would have fixed all this? And just imagine in a world where instead of a CVT, they offered a dual clutch,
Yep.
things would be a little different.
I see why they didn't do the dual clutch because the Civic chassis isn't made for a dual
Right.
clutch.
Oh man,
I
but
mean,
just think though, like what we would be talking about if they would offer the two.
instead of the CVT, the 10-speed or a dual clutch.
Yeah. I mean, even the man, now that I think about it, anything but the CVT.
I mean, I'm fine with the CVT. The issue is that they locked the manual behind a paywall. You can have the CVT. CVTs are good for people that don't really care about cars. They just want a car to drive. That's fine. Give the people the CVT, but don't force people to get the highest model of the car for a 6.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
insane.
It all comes down to there's not enough options for this car.
And the options that are there are very weirdly placed.
I I really think they should have kept the. I don't know why they didn't, but if it was me, why I would have kept Acura's algorithm with four packages. You could have split up. You could have had. I mean, you could have added stuff to different. Like you can. Um, I know like with TLXs, you can add certain things to the package without bumping it all the way up. And you can't do anything like that here. I don't believe. It's all
I guess
like
they try to make it more simple.
right. It's all fine line. Like there's no like gray area. And I'll build one. We can build one, right? Are
Um,
they available?
so you can't really build one. They give you 3 options and then they give you colors. But I mean, we can
Okay.
go through it.
Yeah, we can go through that. Hopefully
It's
soon.
not a full build yet.
Um, so we're 200 horsepower, 6,000 RPM is the peak. Peak torque is 192. 1800 to 5,000 is the power band, which just for the torque, that's okay. Oh, McPherson strut front suspension,
Yep.
multi-link rear suspension. Okay, so hmm, I don't.
Same as the Civics.
Now I might be biased on some of the stuff. Um, like I know modern day you can't really do too crazy without spending a lot. Um, so multi-link rear suspension. So this is in the Civic. Both of this is basically the same thing.
Yeah, we did have multi-link in the old Integras, but we went away from that to cheaper suspension in the front.
Okay, electric power assisted variable steering. Yeah, I would hope. Yep. Alloy wheels, 17 by 7 in the base, and then 18 by 8. And then I thought there was an option for 19s.
Um, there is apparently an option. I don't know why it's not showing on
Hmm.
here, but
Okay,
I
tires.
think it's a dealer option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So 17 by 7, 18 by 8, and I would assume 19 by 8 or 19 by 9.
it'd be 19 by 8 probably.
Tires 215, 50, 17, and then 235 for holy. Okay, so you're going from a 215 to a 2, which doesn't seem like a big difference, but 235, 235s are pretty. I mean,
That sidewall is also a lot smaller on the 18. That's
yeah,
a
we got a nice
good
40.
amount smaller.
235 40, I believe that's that's really close to what I personally run on my car. But it's 17, not an 18. Um, Ventilated front brake disc, solid rear disc brakes. Oh my god, I don't know why. I knew it was not gonna say drum. I don't know why I had a hiccup there, but for some reason it would not surprise me.
And that's the same as the SI. Brakes are the
um,
same.
Wheelbase in inches 107. Length 185, so it's lengthy. Width 72, height 55. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not really good with dimensions like this of how it compares to the other cars. If it's bigger, taller, wider, longer. I know you said it's longer than the SI or the Civic.
Yeah, it's 2 inches longer than the Civic hatch. So I think probably 3 or 4 inches longer than an SI. So it's
Hmm.
definitely a big car. And they don't have the weight yet.
No wait. Okay. I would assume can't be that far off from the Civic.
The SI is 2960, I think. So
Well, you gotta
probably
think
3100.
for the A spec tech is going to be heavy.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe 32 tops for
I
the
don't know.
full spec out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's interesting how they didn't put it here. How how are you feeling on a 100% honest note about this entire project?
So a lot of this I expected. I expected the Honda-like packages and not so much the Acura packaging. Um, Interior I expected. We already knew the exterior. Nothing much shocking wise in a good way. There was some shocking bad things. There was not one thing that I
Yes.
was overly excited about
And here's the
from
thing.
the reveal of this.
So in this thing, when I went through all the specs, that was I did not look at any specs then like right now. So my genuine like shocking, yeah, you could definitely tell there were some things in there just a head scratcher.
There was a few expectations I had that none of them were met.
That's also another
Um,
thing. Like for me, the expectations were already low because I knew what I knew the market we were getting into, and I knew the expect like there was just for the base at least like I knew it was not going to be pretty.
I expect it to have more horsepower, because the 11 gens come out, and from dyno testing, it's been underrated. Um, so I expected them to underrate the SI and then properly rate the Integra, obviously for sales. So I expected that to have around 215 horsepower. What else? I I expected the base to have a manual. I really don't understand why they did that. So that's really,
I
really disappointing.
The horsepower thing is obviously it's a big problem for me only because yeah, for so many years. Here's the thing: for so many years, we had to put up with the ILX being that compact. If in the Acura market, Honda, great, but in the Acura market, if we any hopes of an Integra, the closest thing we could possibly get with an Acura badge was the ILX, and that was the motor was a decade old, and the horsepower has been the same for I don't know 2 decades. It's kind of disappointing that it doesn't have at least a little more horsepower. They didn't even like. really try to make it like more horsepower. Like
At least different engine tuning, 5 to 10 horsepower bumps, something.
there's
Just
just
something.
nothing. It's just copy it. I don't. It's not copy paste from the ILX, obviously, but in terms of like horsepower, uh, what does
There's
that
more
really mean?
usable torque, a better power band than the K24, but not
Hmm.
much character in the 1.5. We've seen that. And I guess the biggest thing, like I said, is the manual lock behind a paywall thing. I kind of plan on buying one of these because I like the whole SI hatch thing, and it's got the Integra name. Sucker for that. But at the 35 grand mark of what this is gonna cost to get a manual, I can't buy this. That's dumb. There's no reason for me to
Also,
buy this.
the thing is, if we're already like kind of being like shot down by these starting prices, it's gonna only get worse when they hit dealerships.
Yeah, there's
I
it's
don't. I don't know.
it's bad.
I don't know. It's not really their fault. Like they're kind of the market that this is. There's so many other cars right now. I don't want to say so many, but there's a handful of cars right now that are in this market that do it well. That really, to have a chance, they would have to knock it out of the park, and I knew they weren't going to do that.
Hyundai's doing so much better than this right now for around the same money. It's bad.
It is sad to me because obviously I'm enthusiast of Acura Honda, so it's sad seeing something with this name. And if you think about back in the day when the Integra was, back in the early gens, how it compared to other cars in the market, like it did so well, especially the third gen. Now it's like, I, to live up to the Integra name, you gotta do a little better.
I just don't see anything that this car directly competes with besides the SI, which is
Well,
Honda.
we can't really compare it to that because
No,
it's not really fair. It's like, I don't know, but to compare it like to other stuff, like the Hyundai, the GTI. Well, yeah, it'd be a comparison to the GTI.
you
Um,
know what? Let me check that real quick because I think this is the same price as a base GTI, and that is uh
Also
that's very
WRX. Um, I don't. This wouldn't be a. Well, I guess it really wouldn't be a comparison. Price wise,
not
maybe.
really. It's definitely in the price range the same, but
Well, that's
the
because of other things, but for like,
yeah.
you can't really.
So the Golf GTI base is actually cheaper than this car.
So the GTI base is cheaper than
The
the
base
base
Integra.
base Integra. Okay,
And the the base GTI you can get a DSG or a manual. Good amount more power. And basically the same features. Some stuff that's included in the GTI you have to go up in a package in the Integra.
right.
So
Yeah, good point. A
there's
lot of
trouble.
people are going to be comparing that stuff, and I know I would too if I had the money and was like, all right, what's my best thing to buy here? And if you're not like connected and like so attached to the Integra name, you're not gonna buy it.
This car does not cross shop very well. If you just look at it for what it is, it's not a bad car.
No,
The way they did the packages and the cross cutting, it's
but that's also the thing is it does like at the end of the day, this car looks good. It's gonna drive good. Um, it's probably gonna sell pretty, at least the base for the general buyer. It's a new car. People are gonna want to buy it. If you're not looking to like be 100% efficient with your money and like what's the best thing I can get for my money, if you just want to buy it because you want to buy it, then it's fine.
And that sucks that you have to make excuses to buy it.
Right.
Objectively, if you don't care about brand recognition and brand history, you won't buy this.
No.
You have to make excuses to buy this, and
Yeah.
that's not good. Obviously, this sells better than the ILX. There's not a chance this sells worse than the ILX. It has the Integra name. Some people are going to go for that. It's obviously a lot better than the ILX. The 11th gen Civic platform is very good. So, from Acura's standpoint, they did well here. Going to sell better than the ILX. But in many ways, they made a bunch of mistakes, and we'll see how that plays out for them.
That's is like their thing though, is to sell better than the ILX, they're already winning. That was kind of the point.
It's sad that we have to bring that up. That should have been automatic. We shouldn't even have to to say
Yeah.
that. But with the
Yeah.
enthusiast market, this is rough. So we have to just, at least it's going to sell better than the ILX.
I will definitely be my eyes will be peeled at the dealership for any word of when we'll even get like anything in person. I don't know. It's probably going to be a while before dates are like set in stone.
Yep.
But interesting. I want to see it in person because like you can take these pictures all day long, and they take these pictures on purpose like this. Like these are all like so professional. Like they're hide like they on purpose they hide stuff, or they focus on one thing, grab your attention from another. So I really want to see in person, real time, what this thing looks like, and like and drive it and just I don't know.
I think it's going to look good in person. We already know it drives good since, all the other 11 gens drive amazing. So it's going to be a good car. I think it'll look pretty well.
Me and you, if we ever drive one of these, me and you will have two totally different perspectives on how we feel. My perspective is I'm gonna compare it to every other Acura because I've driven, countless. You're gonna compare it to your Golf, your WRX. Like you'll compare it to other cars you've driven in the market, while whereas to I haven't really driven a lot of cars from other brands in the same market. I've really just driven cars from the same brand. So I'm going to be comparing it to the other cars from its brand.
Yep.
Basically, like one of the main thing. Well, I can already tell you it's going to drive in better than the ILX, but yeah, that'll be one of
I'd
them.
like to see how it drives compared to the new SI actually. That'll be pretty interesting. Should drive about the same, but
And luckily, I'm sure the first 100 cars or whatever that come out that people get their hands on, there's gonna be comparisons everywhere.
yep.
YouTube, when this car drops, I'm sure it's gonna be a big YouTube car. Like, and unfortunately, I really don't see it being a positive way. If they're gonna be comparing it, but
Oh, people are just waiting to rip this thing apart.
it's
People are just waiting.
I feel bad because if you look at this car, it like it looks like it doesn't deserve it, dude.
It's still sinking in that they have potentially ruined the Integra name.
I
And I
don't
don't
know.
I don't want to be the Facebook commenter
I
that's
know.
this isn't a real Integra, it's a four door.
It's not
I don't
even
hate the
that.
car, they
4 door, 2 door, like it's It's not that, it's everything at once, and then it's compared to everything else. What really does it for me, and it's like, oh, I feel so bad for this car, dude. Like, it's such a shame, and I don't want to be like jump the gun and already say it's gonna fail, because I don't think it's gonna fail in like a bad way compared to everything else. I think it's gonna fail in terms of like comparing it to other cars, right? But in terms of sales, it's gonna do fine.
Yeah, when you start to compare this car, you start to see a lot of flaws. I
Because
I think
that's
it's already failed in the enthusiast market, sadly.
right. But that's
I
the
mean, we'll
thing.
see.
Acura, as long their consumers are, 90%, 85-90% of consumers are older generation. They want features. They don't care about performance really. They don't care about power per liter, weight to ratio. They care about, can I hook my phone up without hands free? Can I talk to my grandchildren? Blah blah blah. Like, it's and I feel bad saying this, but it's the honest thing. Acura is trying so hard to move its consumer base younger, but what really is driving their sales right now, and for like the past so many years, is that older, like, non-enthusiast, just older generation that just wants features.
Yep. The reality of it is, this car had three jobs. One, replace the ILX, it's done, and done better. Then it has to fit the corporate Acura luxury quiet car, nice to drive for those people. And then what they actually targeted the car as is the consumer market and the younger generation. Which, driving dynamics wise, I'm sure it will be. It's a Honda product. Every Honda Acura product drives nice. That's one thing Honda's never screwed up on. But as far as the teenager enthusiast market, the younger generation, I mean, simply the Elantra N, go back to that, similarly priced. It crackles and pops, active exhaust. It's got all the flair on the outside. It's all loud. It's got more horsepower. As for targeting the enthusiast market and the younger generation, it just does not even compare to other cars out there.
That's sad. It's sad truth. Like, I agree though. It's I'd say, mm, it's the right car targeted to the wrong people.
Yep. If this was just a direct ILX replacement, it's done beautifully.
Oh man, if
But they've built
honestly,
one car for two different sets of people, so there's compromises on both ends.
I don't feel bad saying this at all. If this had just an ILX name, I would like it, because
Yeah.
compared to what the other ILX was, it would be a huge upgrade. In my eyes, it would be perfect because it's not trying so hard to be what it's not.
Yep. But Acura wanted to sell to younger people and get the younger generations in, so they had to bring back the Integra name. The ILX won't sell to the younger people. The Integra name will.
Question is, will it?
That is the question.
That is the question. Indeed. Oh man, this gonna. Oh, I'm actually kind of excited. So me being like tied with the dealership, I'll be able to tell, at least in a localish area, like who's buying this car. Like, how many are we selling? Like, how many people ordered this? What's going in? What's going out? I'm excited to see the shipment of these things roll in, and just how many people buy it. It's gonna be
Especially with
fun.
that manual package lockout, if you want to call it. I think that cuts off already a huge amount of the younger enthusiast generation.
You're talking, I mean, after markups and stuff, you're probably at 40s, low
Yeah, because
40s.
in the world today, $5,000 from the base to the max, 5 grand's a lot for a lot of people, and that's a decider. People shop in
Yeah.
cars by 5 grand, so 5 grand just to get that manual, to get that true Honda experience. That's a deal breaker for a lot of people. 5 grand's a lot of money if you want the full manual experience. So I think their biggest mistake by far with this thing is not offering a manual on the base trim. I think that would get a lot more people in.
At least an option. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, if they would have just made it an option, my output or my the way I look at this would be a little bit different in the positive way. But now you have to spend 40. I mean, I don't know how much it'll be, but I'm just gonna guess 40 around for
Mid to high 30s.
like I just missed opportunity. If they really wanted to cater to the younger audience, still they should know, like, for the most part, we don't like people our age. I mean, late or early 20s, mid 20s, even, like, they're want to get into their first, big purchase. It's not going to be anything over 30 grand.
No.
Um, I mean, especially for people that are on their own, right, and they don't have like a whole lot to work with. They would go for a Focus ST. Like, it's I don't know, just not a lot in terms of like younger generation to work with here. And if
And
that's what they're
if
going
you
for, they already overpriced it.
if you want a manual in this thing, like we said, it's 35 to 37, somewhere around there. That's a top trim GTI, or you go with the lower one and then you have more money left over, the Elantra N. That's more expensive than the Elantra N, and you can get a manual or dual clutch down there. The WRX is
That's
going to be cheaper with a manual. I can't, besides those three cars and the Veloster, obviously, I can't think of anything right now. But every other competing car you can get for cheaper with a manual.
yeah.
And since they're pushing the manual so much, obviously for marketing, I don't understand why that isn't at least an option on the base trim. It's a really,
That was
really
literally
weird thing.
their first teaser was the manual thing, or well, it was like one of their first.
Yeah.
Like drivetrain wise, they really pushed it. We're like, yep, manual's back. Do you want
And
the manual? Here it is. But they didn't
why do you
mention.
lock that behind $5,000 worth of options? I don't understand.
Man, I think I will agree. For me, that's the biggest disappointment that I read today was you can't you can't have an affordable manual,
Nope.
and
I
that
really
really,
I
yeah,
really wanted one of these. I was planning
that
on putting a deposit down.
that seals the deal. Obviously for me too, because that's 30. Yeah, nope.
I can't spend 35 grand to get a manual and it just be an SI hatchback.
Oh,
It's
interesting
tough.
stuff. Interesting. And even oh, and that's I mean, you might as well just get that.
Yeah, for most of the people that'll be cross shopping this car, oh, the Integra's back. Well, just get an SI. You're not losing out on that much. Cheaper.
That really that sucks because back in the day it was the opposite.
Yeah.
It really shows like how flip flop this is and how just I guess lost Acura is as a company.
I mean, if we even look back in the day, we had the older SI, or let's 2006 with the RSX. We had the SI and the RSX. The RSX was a little more luxury. Same engine, similar, same engine, just like the new Integra, but not that much of a price difference. Not nearly as much
Oh
as you
man.
have to do now for a manual.
So let me pull up Google. So back in, hang on. So let me see. So back in 2006, SI coupe and manual. I would assume the four doors are probably about the same price.
Yeah.
MSRP for just over $20,000. Now we'll take that and compare that to the Type S.
Well, you got to do the base RSX technically, because this
Uh,
isn't even the Type S yet.
but even then, the Type S is MSRP'd at 23, so it's only $3,000 difference.
So if you take the base RSX, I mean, they're the same price. That's, yeah,
So
very interesting.
yeah, literally the base two-door RSX back in '06 MSRP'd for literally the exact same price as the SI. Interesting how that works.
Man, they've made some weird mistakes with these options. Hopefully they fix it. Hopefully, I haven't seen anyone talking about it too much yet, because the average person doesn't look into the car this much. But maybe they'll fix it and offer a manual on the base. And if they do offer a manual on the base, it does make it a lot more attractive in the end.
Man, it's not. I don't know. We're kind of hoping for nothing here.
If you put the manual in the base, I would consider this car a lot more. There's still some really weird things about it, but that would make it a lot more attractive.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Last minute stuff. Um, um, Trying to think what else we can add in here. Pictures, I guess. We kind of hit on everything here. We highs and lows.
Yeah.
At the
Sadly,
end of
not
the
many
day,
highs to talk about.
at the end of the day, this thing still looks really good.
Doesn't look too bad. It's grown on me a little bit, but the price has grown too.
Right.
I
Uh
mean, I guess for a minute, what do you think about a potential Type S?
they they need to be they got to think about it for more than 2 seconds. This if they okay, here's the thing. The type ooh, the Integra name, right? Like they've already kind of I don't want to say soiled it, but they've already left a bad impression so far. I can't stress this enough. You can't make the same mistake twice. The Type S name, you have to it has to be great. You can't bring back an Integra and then bring in a Type S and then drop the ball on both. One has okay, so they already pretty much dropped the ball on the Integra or whatever. So now they have to start from scratch. Like not everything obviously, but they have to just take feedback. But here's what they do. They let this out. They let the Integra out with the base, the A-Spec, and the A-Spec Tech. They let it out for a while. They sit back. They take in feedback because, oh my gosh, will there be feedback? They're going to take in the feedback. And I don't know the time scale of this. They could already have the Type S in blueprint and they can already be building it and speccing out a prototype. But let's say that time isn't a thing and you're just going to approach it like this. Let it play out. Let the Integra out for a while. Let's say half a year. Come back 6 months. Look at your feedback. Look at how much you've sold. Look at some issues because okay, the thing is I know this thing's probably gonna have some issues. I wouldn't say like it's gonna be crazy, but work out some stuff, come back after 6 months, gather what you have, and then here's where you don't care. Here's where you just do not care about anything else other than the Type S name. If you look at the TLX Type S, was it 355 horsepower, all wheel, like that car. Granted, it's not the fastest thing, but compared to everything else that Acura's done, that's by far they blew it out. They blew it out of the water. You have to like. There's even an MDX Type S, right? Like to have a Type S name, it's got to be pretty freaking great. So to have an Integra have a Type S name, you can't just add a few things like, oh, it's got ventilated seats and some appearance packages and a 6-speed, or like you have to really, because if you look, the difference between when they did with the TLX, the difference is between a TLX A spec and a Type S. That's a whole like the motor. That's a whole like everything was pretty much overhauled.
The whole car was
So
everything.
this kind of gives me hope, but at the same time, it's like, do you think they'll do it? If they do a
They
Type
can't get
S,
too wild on the price, though. That's the thing.
and yeah, that's also the thing. It's in a weird margin between that TLX Type S, and then we're already like, okay, so TLX Type S average, we'll say it's about 55 for one, 50 to 55. We're already with our A spec tech, we're already like, I'd say high 30s, and then you have to compare it to the the Civic Type R, because I'm sure they're going to share a lot of the same stuff. And what and or Civic Type R's are, what do you think
Um,
the 11 shims will be at?
Probably 38, 37, 38. Can't see it being much higher than that.
But that's the thing. The A spec the A spec tech is already there, if not going to be a little bit higher. So you're already, if you're offering more, you're going to have to charge more, right? So if you're offering this big change, you're going to have to make about a 5 to 10 grand
Yep.
like upcharge between the Type S and the A spec, because if you look at the TLX, it's kind of the same boat. There's a quite a significant margin between, because of the overhaul that they did do. So if they do such a big overhaul like they did with the TLX, they can't back themselves into a corner here. And they're kind of, it's funny because they're backing themselves into a corner, their own corner. Like they're getting, like it's crazy because it's not so much other cars in the market through other brands. It's their own cars. They're so
Yeah, they have
close
to
in
be
price.
careful with that pricing too.
They're so
Yeah.
close in price to their own cars. They're getting like sandwiched by their own people. It's going to be really tricky.
They're not going to be able to do the whole overhaul they did on the TLX, sadly. They're going to have to conserve a little bit here because they're going to run into their own pricing and they're going to get in real market trouble with other brands too. So,
And I don't see them. They're not going to discontinue the TLX Type S is only a year
no.
old. They're not going to do that just for this car.
No. And that's their German M3, M4 competitor, so that has its own place. That's competing. That's competing. So, I don't think they can go as crazy as they did with the TLX. Um, Obviously, they went with the SI powertrain here. I They're gonna have to go with the Type R powertrain for the Type S, or they could go with the Accord powertrain and give it like 250-ish, or the TLX, give it 250-ish horsepower, as to not step on their own feet with the Type R, Civic Type R. But as it's already going, it's most likely going to have the Type R powertrain. And if this car is anything over 40, 41, it's going to be really weird. Be a really weird spot.
Although I can see that being the thing they do though. because if theoretically, let's say Type R 38 is about this Type S, we'll say 42.
42, 43.
I'd say it's kind
That's
of
a dangerous spot, dude.
42. Because now, you're in Golf R territory now, aren't you?
I was about to
In
say,
the
I hate to
40s.
bring up the Golf R again, but I think the Golf R doesn't have any packages, by the way. I love that. Just you get everything at the start. I think it's 45, real quick. You They can't get up near that price. The Golf R is a whole different machine in that aspect. All-wheel drive, first of all. Oh, sorry, the Golf R MSRP is 43,000. Oh
Okay.
man.
So, if like I said earlier, we're looking at our own market, but now if we step out to other brand market, we're in a much much tighter corner. Like, I, it's insane how tight this corner is. Like, for them to pull it off, I don't think they're gonna have like you said, they can't go too crazy with it
Yeah, they can't go as crazy because of pricing. They're gonna have to be careful.
unless they come out with this new thing that's not really taking from any other car. I could see it, but I don't know. I
Now there is one way they can compete in the 40,000s with the Golf R and other cars around that. And like the STI is probably going to be around that price too. And if you notice a trend between the Golf R and the STI, they're going to have to give it super handling all-wheel drive.
I could see
To
that though.
compete up there, they're going to have to give it super handling all-wheel drive, which I don't think the Civic chassis is even set up for, so I don't think
I
that's really an
mean,
option for them.
I don't know. They hmm. In a
So they would
perfect
have to build
world,
a whole new chassis.
that would be the way to do it, but um unfortunately how this is shaping out to be, I I just see this as a little marketing ILX thing. Like, I don't see it to ever be something like we hope.
You don't think it's going to go much further?
I really don't. And we can look back on this, and I hope I'm wrong. You can laugh at me. I really do. Because I want to see it more than anything, but if we're logically speaking and how what we've seen so far and what they would have to do to fix it, I I don't know. I think this is all they got here.
And if they do give it super handling all-wheel drive as a mostly Honda purist, that hurts, first of all. Second of all, the car is going to be a lot heavier. It's going to change the whole driving dynamics of the car. And it's going to go way out of its own shoes. So
Yeah, I agree with that. That's something I don't think they're gonna do. That's
I
too
hate to be the
much.
executive that has to make this call.
Yeah. I Because you have a lot of people that are like, just do it. It's, oh my god, just do it. And then you have people that are like, well, even if you do it, I'm not buying it.
It's going to be a hard sell for sure. I don't know how exactly they're going to handle it. There's so many different ways they could handle it. It's going to be
So
stressful.
here's kind of my end all prediction. I think the base will sell fine because of the CVT and because of the market that and the consumers that are tied to it. I think we're gonna see a lot of just run of the mill CVT bases sell. That's the end of the story. That's how new car goes. It's the cheap, well, in the Acura department, it's gonna be someone walks into the Acura dealership, like, all right, looking for a car, just with this feature, nothing like too crazy.
Yeah.
This isn't a BMW, like, and I don't want a full size SUV, um, something like that. Obviously, yeah, they're gonna sell, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't speak for like nationally, but for our dealership in particular, the ILX wasn't that bad, and it all depends on the area and stuff like that. But in our area, the ILX, we really didn't have that much of a problem selling them.
Yeah, and like we said, as an ILX replacement, this car
Oh yeah.
does wonderful. This car's beautiful. It's just everything else that has to be worried about.
And then my other prediction is, so the base I think is gonna sell better than the ILX, but it won't be like a TLX. You know, it's not gonna sell that good. Um, but after that, the A spec and the A spec tech I think are not gonna sell like that good.
Is the Integra name strong enough for people to come into the dealership and pay the extra $5,000 for a manual transmission? That's the question.
If so, there's only a certain group of people that'll do it. Like you can't speak for everyone because I'd say we're outnumbered here. The larger number are going to look at statistics that are going to have the money, and they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go get the GTI or the Elantra, and then you got like a smaller group of people that are buying it for the name or that you know, is that you can't say a larger group of people are going to buy for the Integra name. That's not how the car
No.
market works. There's more people buy cars after looking at statistics. You know, they're spending the money. They're going to want to be as efficient as possible with their money,
Cross
especially,
shopping, which
yeah.
this car doesn't do well on.
So I think, again, the base is going to sell good. Great. Anything after that, I think we're going to be a little spotty.
Yep. You're gonna really have to be invested in Honda, Acura, and
Oh, yeah.
really, really have to be invested in the Integra name. I am, and I'm. It's rough, so it's gonna be a tough sell for the enthusiasts at least. As for the ILX replacement part, it's gonna sell beautifully. I don't see this failing, but for everyone else, it's gonna be a tough sell.
I also predict that the Type S won't be any drastic change. Like, drastic change. No drastic changes to the Type S.
No, I think it's just gonna be engine, transmission, um, some appearance packages, maybe ventilated seats,
I,
flat bottom
I
steering
mean,
wheel or something like that. Very
yeah.
simple shit. The biggest thing with the Type S is just going to be the drivetrain difference.
I wouldn't expect if if people are waiting for this Type S Integra to be like the glory days, it's not gonna happen. I I prove you wrong, but I don't know.
No. Nope.
God, the market is insane for this stuff, though.
Oh yeah.
Like how
They're trying to fit
close,
right in there, and very
just
close.
how close everything is all together. It's and it's this is the time right now. If you got something, I, come on, you make a prototype. Like this is the time.
I didn't even think about this. It's not really a competitor, but the new Nissan Z. I
Uh,
think that's rumored to start around 40 grand. I mean that has nothing to do with this car, to be honest.
right,
That's in a
right.
whole different
That's,
category.
I mean, base for base, it's already done.
As for the argument of the car market right now, or just all the cars coming out in general, there's some interesting stuff. There's a
I
lot of
can't
choices
wait.
right now.
Ew, you know, it's pretty exciting to. I hope that I know it's not gonna be, and we can go into a rabbit hole on this too, but I know it's not gonna be like anything exciting in the next 10 years, but I just feel like the next 3, 4, maybe kind of 5-ish is gonna be where we see like the last, and it sucks saying the last push, but like the last glory of like
Yep,
sportish cars
that's what we're seeing right now.
that aren't
It is the last
electric.
push. I just forgot about Toyota. The GR Corolla.
That is,
That's a very potential competitor to this too. More Type
and
R probably, but still.
honestly, yeah, I'm
And
gonna
that
I'm gonna get flamed for being a Honda Acura enthusiast, but man, I would take one of those. It's hard to say because we don't really know a whole lot, and we haven't seen anything yet. This is all just pictures and spec sheets, but for right now, I would still the GR. Oh man, it's tough.
yeah.
Toyota has been tough the last 5 years. Ever since the swing when the Supra came back and they started getting more into the sporty side, they've been tough.
The new 8.6 too, that's cheaper than this. It's a
And
little
and
different of a
yeah,
car, but
oh man, that
and the GR Corolla, I don't see that thing being anything over 38, to be honest. So that's
well,
right in there
same
too.
the uh the regular Corollas are mid 20s. So yeah,
Yeah,
him being 30s.
yeah, probably mid
But
30s.
we can get into that another time. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But we've got, let's see, let's go for 6 more minutes, and then, or sorry, 5 more minutes now. So this is the very last minute. Anything we got to get out about the Integra? Um, we can talk about other cars a later time, but last call for the Integra for so far as what we've seen.
Um, like I said earlier, I expected more. Not really more. I mean, a little more horsepower, just ratings wise, because the SI was underrated, the 11 gen. The manual thing is still getting to me, how they lock that. The features, packages are a little weird to me. The pricing is very weird with everyone else in the market right now. It looks good. It's gonna drive amazing. We already know that.
Oh,
People are gonna
yeah,
people are gonna
yeah.
buy it as an entry level Acura vehicle. We just gotta wait to see how the enthusiasts take it.
So, all right. Well, that's 2 hours of Integra talk. That was pretty nice. Yeah, we could probably go for probably a couple more, but I'm gonna save that for now. Um, so I'm thinking about. I don't know if we could probably do this more often. I think it's pretty fun just to sit back and just shoot the breeze about car stuff
Oh yeah,
while
there's
there's
definitely a lot of car stuff to talk about
right.
this year and around this time. Yeah,
So I
a
think it's
lot
a
of
good
stuff
idea
going
to
on.
start. I mean, doing this every once in a while just to get something out there, just something to do, something to talk
Yep.
about. So okay, well that was it. It was fun. I honestly, I'm no matter what happens, I'm just excited for it for
Yep.
sure. So
Definitely.
all right, well, I guess whenever we decide to do another one, we'll make another one, and I think next time I'll probably have a setup to do it live, so we're not, so we have hopefully some people to talk about and get more opinions on some of the stuff we talk about.
Yep.
But that's it. Anything you want to add?
No, I think I said everything. We'll just have to see how it works out.
All right. Well, that was 2 hours of Teggy talk. But all right, we'll be back with another one soon, I guess, and see if we can go live with it. So, all right, that's it.